Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm Mia.
And I'm Daniel.
Today's episode continues our Confusing Pairs mini-series, Say versus Tell. When to use which, the exceptions worth memorizing, and some genuinely useful related expressions, too.
Imagine walking into a really crucial job interview. You know, you want to sound professional. You want to make a great impression.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Right. So you confidently lean in and you whisper to the receptionist, my boss said me to arrive early.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And instantly you see the receptionist blink.
Right. The tone just completely shifts.
Exactly. In just 1 second, you've fallen into one of the biggest, most common grammar traps in the entire English language.
It happens all the time.
It really does. So today we are fixing that trap once and for all.
We are tackling the frustrating, confusing difference between the verbs say and tell.
It is a perfect topic for us.
Yeah.
Both of those words, they describe the exact same physical action.
Right.
You are using your voice to communicate an idea, you're sharing a message, but grammatically they operate in completely different universes. And when you mix them up, it immediately sounds unnatural to a native speaker. I hear that mix up constantly, honestly. And, I understand why it happens. Because when two words mean the same thing, your brain just assumes they follow the same rules.
Yeah, that makes totally sense.
So our mission today is to completely untangle these two words. We're going to build this lesson step by step using really simple, clear English.
Which is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
We will start with the fundamental anchor, like the single core rule that separates these two verbs.
Okay, perfect.
From there, we can look at the common traps, explore some fixed expressions, and then finally dive into the colorful everyday idioms that native speakers actually use.
Awesome. The golden rule is definitely where we need to begin because almost everything else we discussed today connects right back to it.
Yeah, it's the foundation.
Right. So I want to build a visual for this for our listeners. Think about the act of communicating as a physical object, like a ball.
Oh, I like that. So the message itself is a ball.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
When you use the verb tell, you are handing that ball directly to a specific person. You are giving it to them. Mm-hmm.
And because you are handing it over, you absolutely must know who is catching it.
Right, there has to be a catcher.
Exactly. Which brings us to the core grammatical rule. The word tell requires a direct personal object immediately after it.
That is the perfect way to visualize it. I mean, you can't just hold out your hand and drop the ball, right?
You just drop it on the floor.
Right. There must be a person standing right there to take it from you.
Right.
So in grammar terms, a direct personal object is just the specific person receiving the message.
Like words like me or him.
Exactly. Words like me, him, us, or even a name like Sarah.
Okay.
They absolutely must come directly after the word tell.
So a correct sentence would be, she told me the news.
Yes.
Because the word me is the person catching the ball. And it sits right next to the verb told.
Exactly. Now, let's compare that to the verb say.
Go.
If tell is handing the ball to someone, well, say is just throwing the ball up into the air for anyone to see.
Oh, okay. So you're just putting the words out into the world. Exactly. And because you are just throwing it in the air, you do not need a specific person to catch it.
I see. So the focus is entirely on the ball itself, like the message, not the receiver.
Precisely. The rule for say is that it does not take a direct personal object immediately after the verb.
Okay, so no person right after it.
Right. You cannot put a person right next to it. So you just say, she said the news would air tonight.
I get it. There is no me or him or us right after the word said.
Nope. Exactly.
Okay, let's slow this down just a second and repeat that for everyone listening. She told me the news. That's handing the ball. She said the news would air tonight. That is throwing the ball into the air.
Right.
If you are listening right now, just picture that in your mind. I feel like this gives us a very easy instant test to use whenever we feel confused speaking English.
Oh, totally. That instant test is simply asking yourself, is there a specific person named right after the verb?
Okay.
If the answer is yes, you must use tell.
Right.
If the answer is no, you use say.
That makes the underlying logic just so clear. But, knowing the rule and actually using it in real conversation, well, those are two different things.
Oh, definitely.
And this breaks down most often when people are using reported speech.
Yes, exactly.
Which, for our listeners, that is when you are telling someone about a conversation that already happened.
Reported speech is, well, it's where the vast majority of mistakes happen.
Yeah.
So let's look at how both words function correctly first. Imagine a friend was tired yesterday,
Okay.
and today you want to report that information. You could throw the message into the air and use say. You would state, she said that she was tired.
Okay, so no personal object there, just the message.
Right. Or alternatively, you could hand the message to yourself using tell.
Oh,
So you would state, she told me that she was tired.
got it. And actually, I want to point out a quick habit of native English speakers right here.
Oh, go for it.
That little word that in the middle of those sentences, it is entirely optional.
Oh, yeah, we drop it all the time.
All the time. In casual everyday speech, we almost always drop it. We just say, she said she was tired, or she told me she was tired.
Right.
Dropping it just makes your English sound much more fluid.
It really does. But here's the trap. Because both of those sentences mean the exact same thing, learners often blend the grammar rules together.
Ah, I see where this is going.
Yeah, and this results in the classic mistake we mentioned at the very beginning of this deep dive.
The dreaded, she said me, that she was tired.
Yes.
Yeah.
She said me. It completely violates our core rule.
Right, because you are trying to throw the ball in the air with the word say, but you're also trying to hand it to a person with the word me.
Exactly. The grammar just collapses.
Yeah.
You simply cannot put a personal object directly after say.
I hear this mistake so frequently, so let's give our listeners a fix. If a learner catches themselves mid-sentence, about to say he said me or they said us, how do they smoothly correct it?
Well, you have two clean options. First, you can just remove the person entirely. Just step back and throw the ball in the air. Change it to, she said that she was tired.
Right. Take the person out.
Exactly. Your second option is to change the verb to match the person. Hand over the ball. Change it to, she told me that she was tired.
Both of those fix the grammar perfectly. I do have a question about a specific edge case, though.
Sure. What is it?
What if I am in a situation where I really want to focus on the message by using the word say, but I also really need to identify the listener? Like, is there a way to use say and me in the same sentence without breaking the rule?
Yes, there is a bridge you can use. You just had to add the word to, T-O.
Oh, okay.
So you can say, she said to me that she was tired. The word to acts as a buffer.
Ah, I see. So the person is not sitting right next to the verb say anymore.
Exactly. It's grammatically correct because of that buffer.
She said to me, okay, that fixes the grammar, but, it feels a bit heavy.
Yeah.
It doesn't really sound like how my friends and I talk over coffee.
You zeroed in on the exact nuance there.
Yeah.
She said to me is technically correct, but it is stiff.
Yeah, stiff is a good word for it.
It sounds really formal.
Yeah,
Or maybe like you were giving official testimony in a courtroom or something.
right.
In casual everyday speech, native speakers will almost always default to, she told me.
So the practical advice here for our listeners is, if you're at work, at a party, or talking to a neighbor, just always default to told me.
Yes, absolutely.
And Save said to me for when you are writing a serious email or maybe reading a formal document.
That is exactly right. Now, as much as we love this core rule, the English language is pretty famous for breaking its own patterns.
Isn't it just?
Yeah, so we need to explore what we call fixed expressions.
Right. And these are the phrases that you can't always figure out just by applying the rule.
Right.
There are chunks of language that have just kind of stuck together over time. We just have to memorize them as complete units.
Exactly. So let's start with the fixed expressions that use tell.
Okay, let's hear them.
Here are the most essential ones to know. Tell a story. Tell a lie. Tell the truth. Tell a joke. Tell the time. Tell the difference. And tell someone apart.
Okay, wait. Looking at that list, I immediately notice a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Tell a story, tell a lie, tell the truth. None of those have a direct personal object after the verb.
Yeah.
There's no me or him. So it looks like they are breaking the ball metaphor completely.
Well, it definitely looks that way on the surface.
Yeah.
But if we dig into the logic of those words, the metaphor actually still holds up.
Really? How so?
Think about what a story, a lie, or a joke fundamentally is.
Well, I guess they are social actions. You don't just throw a joke out into an empty room.
Right.
You need an audience.
Exactly. The intention of transferring the message to a listener, it's built into the very definition of a joke, or a lie, or a story.
Oh, wow. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, so you are still handing the ball to someone, even if you don't explicitly name them in the sentence. That's why they pair with the word tell.
Okay, that makes so much sense. It is all about the social intention. But wait, what about tell the time or tell the difference? Those don't involve handing a message to anyone.
Right, those are true exceptions.
Ah,
And they actually relate to a much older definition of the word tell.
really? like from hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, tell used to mean to calculate, to count, or to distinguish.
Oh, fascinating.
So when you tell the time, you are reading and calculating the clock.
Right.
When you tell the difference, you are distinguishing between two things.
Okay, let's expand on that one because tell the difference is incredibly useful for everyday English. How would we use that naturally?
Well, it basically describes the ability to separate two very similar things in your mind.
Okay.
For example, imagine you are tasting two different brands of bottled water. You know, they taste almost identical.
Right.
You might say, I honestly cannot tell the difference between these two. This means your brain cannot distinguish them.
I love that. And there is a partner phrase to that, right? Tell them apart. It feels very similar.
It is very similar, but it's usually applying to physical objects or to people.
Okay.
So imagine you meet two brothers who are identical twins. You look at them and you might say, they look so similar, I can never tell them apart.
Meaning you cannot identify which brother is which.
Exactly.
I love how those old meanings of calculation survived in those two phrases.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah. So let's look at the other side. What are the fixed expressions we need to memorize for the word say?
All right. The essential list for say includes say hello, say goodbye, say a prayer,
Okay.
say your name, say something,
Okay.
and say a few words.
You know, this list fits our ball metaphor perfectly.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. Like when you say a prayer, you are putting your words out into the universe. You are throwing the ball up into the air.
Yeah.
And when you say goodbye, you are just putting that social greeting out into the room.
It fits beautifully. There is no direct person receiving it immediately after the verb. However, learners often notice a tricky situation here. You will frequently hear a native speaker say, say hello to your mother for me.
Right. Your mother is a person. It feels like we are breaking the rule again.
I know, but look at the exact structure of the sentence, though.
Okay.
Say hello to your mother. It uses the word to. It follows the exact same buffer rule we discussed earlier.
Say +2 plus the person.
Exactly.
Okay, so we are not saying say your mother hello. We are saying say hello to your mother.
Yes. And, you know, the reason we don't just use the word tell in this situation reveals a really wonderful nuance about English. Think about what happens if you change that sentence and say, tell your mother hello.
Tell your mother hello. It suddenly feels, I don't know, like an order, like a command.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm a boss giving an instruction.
Exactly. Because tell is about handing the ball directly to someone. Tell your mother hello is literally a command to deliver a package.
Oh, wow.
But say hello to your mother, that's softer. You're just putting a warm wish into the air and politely asking them to pass it along.
That is why this deep dive is so important. Just changing one single word shifts the entire emotional weight of the conversation.
It really does.
You go from a friendly wish to a strict command.
Right. And when you understand the mechanics of the language, you can actually control the emotion of the language.
That is so powerful.
It is. And this perfectly sets up our next step. Because when we look at slang and everyday idioms, well, these mechanics get incredibly colorful.
Oh, I'm excited.
Native speakers use these words in very creative ways.
Idioms are always my favorite part of learning a language. For anyone listening, these are the phrases where the individual words don't really make literal sense, but together they create a brand new meaning.
Exactly.
Let's start with idioms using tell.
Okay, a fantastic, extremely common idiom is the phrase, you can tell.
Oh, we use this constantly. You can tell. And just to be clear, it does not mean someone has permission to speak, right?
No, not at all.
So what is the actual mechanism happening here?
It means that a truth is just obvious based on visual evidence.
Okay.
Your eyes are gathering information, and that information is telling you a fact.
Oh, I see.
For example, imagine you were watching a colleague present a brilliant project they worked on all weekend. You might nod and say, wow, you can tell she prepared for this.
Oh, that's great. The quality of the work is basically handing me the obvious truth.
Exactly.
I love that. Okay, here's another one I hear in coffee shops and boardrooms all the time. I tell you what.
Oh, yeah. I tell you what is a brilliant conversational tool. We use it to announce that we are about to make a suggestion or, offer a compromise or maybe completely shift the topic.
Right.
So imagine you and I are trying to pick a restaurant for dinner.
Yeah.
And we are getting frustrated because we can't agree.
Which happens all the time.
Right. I could break the tension just by saying, I tell you what, let's just grab pizza and go to the park.
Okay, so it acts like a signal flare.
Yeah, pretty much.
It says, Stop arguing. I am throwing a brand new idea into the mix. What about a situation with a bit more conflict? Let's talk about the phrase, tell someone off.
To tell someone off is a strong negative action.
Right.
It means to scold or criticize someone sharply because they did something wrong. You are aggressively handing them a message of disapproval.
That sounds intense.
It is. For example, you might say, the manager told him off for missing the critical deadline.
It paints a picture of a very stern, very angry conversation.
Definitely.
Now compare that to a phrase from childhood, tell on someone. Just adding the little word on changes the entire scenario.
It really, really does. To tell on someone means to report a secret or, bad behavior to an authority figure.
Like a teacher or a parent.
Exactly. It is almost exclusively used when talking about children. When one child sees another break a rule, they run and hand that secret to a parent.
All right.
So you'd say, she told on her brother for stealing the cookies.
Siblings telling on each other. It is just a universal human experience.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, let's shift our focus to the colorful idioms that use the word say.
A really great one to start with is say the word.
Ooh, say the word. This feels like a very generous phrase.
It is deeply generous.
Yeah.
Say the word means you are waiting for a signal, and the very moment the person gives it, you will act to help them.
Okay.
You are literally waiting for them to throw the ball into the air.
Oh, I love the connection to the metaphor.
Yeah. So if a friend is going through a hard time, you might say, hey, if you need me to come over and help you clean your house, just say the word.
It basically means the moment you ask, I am there.
Exactly.
Another interesting one is the phrase, so to speak. And I notice people usually drop this in right at the end of a sentence.
Yes. So to speak is a way of acknowledging that you just used a metaphor.
Oh, okay.
It tells the listener, hey, do not take what I just said literally.
Right.
For example, you might say, he is the backbone of this company, so to speak.
Because he's not an actual spine.
Right. You want everyone to know he is essential, but you want to clarify that he is not literally a human spine.
So you were basically just acknowledging the colorful language you just put into the air.
Exactly.
And finally, perhaps the most famous say idiom of all. Easier said than done.
Oh, every English learner should have this phrase ready to use.
Definitely.
Easier said than done just means that an idea sounds incredibly simple when you talk about it, but it is genuinely difficult to actually accomplish in reality.
So throwing the idea into the air is easy, but doing the work is hard.
Exactly. Someone might suggest you should just wake up at 5 a.m. every day to study.
Right.
And you would naturally reply, well, that is easier said than done when I work late shifts.
That makes perfect sense. Let's pull these idioms out of the textbook and put them into real life for a second.
Okay, let's do it.
I was actually talking to a friend yesterday, and the conversation naturally used so many of these phrases.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was venting about work. He walked up to me and said, I tell you what, I am so frustrated with my office right now.
See, notice how he used, I tell you what, to demand your attention and introduce his problem.
Right. It worked perfectly. Then he explained that his supervisor had just told him off in front of the whole team for a mistake he didn't even make.
Ouch. And he told him off, meaning a sharp, aggressive criticism.
Exactly. So I asked him why he didn't just defend himself.
And what did he say?
He sighed and said, standing up to the boss is easier said than done. You can tell he was just looking for someone to blame.
That is a perfect, natural flow. Easier said than done highlights the difficulty of the situation.
Right.
And you can tell points out the obvious visual evidence of the boss's bad mood.
Yes.
None of that feels like a grammar exercise. It just sounds like human frustration.
It really does. The mechanics of the language just fade into the background when you use the idioms correctly.
They absolutely do.
Well, before we finish our mission today, we need to secure the perimeter.
Oh, okay.
There are a couple of final, unrelated pitfalls that learners stumble into when they are hyper-focused on say and tell.
Yes, that is true. Sometimes the correct word is neither say nor tell. The biggest trap here involves questions. I frequently hear learners use the phrase, tell a question.
Oh, yes. Or say a question.
Yeah, both are grammatically impossible in English. You never say or tell a question.
Okay, so what do we use?
You must always use the verb ask. You ask a question.
Ask a question.
Yes. The words say and tell are exclusively used for providing statements or sharing information. They are never used for requesting it.
Always ask a question. Got it. And what about stories? Because this trips people up since it involves sharing information. I hear say a story occasionally.
Ah, that falls back into our fixed expressions.
Oh, right.
Because a story is designed to be handed to an audience, it must always be tell a story. Never say a story.
Ask a question. Tell a story. Okay, that clears up those specific traps beautifully.
Excellent.
Let's also expand our toolkit just a little bit here at the end. Say and tell are everyday words.
Very common.
But what if a learner is walking into a formal environment? You know, like writing a university essay or a legal document.
Ah, okay. If you are in a formal written environment, you want to elevate your vocabulary. So instead of using, say, you can use the word state, S-T-A-T-E.
State. How does that change the feeling of the sentence?
Well, it adds official weight. Like the financial report states that profits are down.
Right.
It sounds documented and serious, whereas the report says, well, it just sounds a bit too casual for a boardroom.
That makes sense. And what if I am in the exact opposite situation? What if I want to talk about something very casually, just bringing it up in passing without making it the center of attention?
Oh, then you should use the word mention.
Mention.
Yeah. When you mention something, you are throwing it into the air very briefly. It is not the main topic.
Okay, give me an example.
Like she mentioned that she might be 5 minutes late.
Ah, I see.
It is a light passing detail.
State for formal weight, mention for light passing details. That adds wonderful texture to the vocabulary.
It really does.
Well, we have covered a massive amount of ground today, and we really explored the deep logic behind it all. Let's quickly summarize the mission to lock this knowledge into place for our listeners.
It all comes back to the ball. The core rule. Tell means handing the ball to a specific person.
Right.
It generally requires a direct personal object right after the verb, she told me.
Perfect. And say is throwing the ball in the air. It generally does not take a personal object directly after it. She said that.
Exactly.
And if you accidentally trap yourself and say, she said me, you fix it by either dropping the person, she said that, or changing the verb, she told me.
Then we had our fixed expressions.
Yeah.
Even though they don't always name a person, things meant for an audience use tell. Tell a story, tell a lie, tell a joke.
Right.
Things put out of the universe, you say a prayer, say hello.
Then we brought in the colorful everyday idioms. For tell, we explored, you can tell, I tell you what, tell someone off and tell on someone. And for say, we looked at say the word, so to speak, and easier said than done.
And finally, never tell or say a question. Always ask a question. And if you are writing formally, remember to use words like state.
I highly recommend that anyone listening to this deep dive take a moment today to speak these examples out loud. Train your ear to hear the natural rhythm of Taylor no, told me and said that.
That is great advice.
And hey, leave us a comment and tell us which confusing English grammar trap you want us to untangle next. We literally read every single one.
We do. And, mastering the difference between these two words takes a bit of time. But once it clicks, your spoken English will instantly sound more native and fluid.
Absolutely. As you move through your day, I want to leave you with one final lingering thought about the strange evolution of the English language.
Oh, I love these.
Think about why we developed two entirely different words for the exact same physical act of speaking. It really reveals what our culture values.
Oh, that's interesting.
The word say forces us to focus purely on the information. It is just data floating in the air. But the word tell forces us to look away from the information and focus entirely on the human connection.
Oh, wow.
It demands that we acknowledge the person standing right in front of us receiving our words. So as you practice your English today, ask yourself, are you just putting words into the air, or are you truly handing your message to someone else?
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today, clearing up say versus tell once and for all.
If this episode genuinely helped you, subscribe for more English learning podcasts like this one, and leave a comment telling us which confusing word pair should we tackle next in this series. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.